took 55 chicks from their nests and put in those boxes behind me. I know that might sound wrong, but their survival depends on us. Now we have to become their mothers. We have to feed them every 10 minutes, basically all day, every day, from 4 a.m. till 10 p.m. Because in the wild, they wouldn't survive anymore.
Every day starts at 4 a.m. It's midsummer now, meaning it's the longest day hours, and sunrise is very early. The first thing we do each morning is a health check and weight monitoring. Because we really want to increase the chances of their survival, we have to take it very seriously. We're even playing wetland sounds with the bird chirping. We start with the youngest ones, and this is the last nest we found. These chicks only about 1 week old, and part of the job is also to paint their nails. We do this so we could distinguish them one from another, because seriously, they all look the same. While we're doing this, another volunteer already started feeding first chicks, which are walking up. This year we have 55 of them, and it's quite a lot. From now on, the feeding won't stop until 10 p.m. We basically imitate the way their parents would feed them, bringing food every 10 minutes or so. We weigh them to know how they are developing, if they gain or lose weight. And if they lose, then we have to take extra care, to give food with more protein, for example. And also to make sure that each individual had enough. Aquatic warblers are one of the rarest European birds. Their population declined by around 95% in the last 70 years, and it's only about 4,000 or 5,000 singing males left, mainly due to habitat loss. There are only 4 countries left where these birds are able to breed and nest today. It's Belarus, Ukraine, Poland and Lithuania.
It is an umbrella species, indicating really high quality fen mayas. They're full of biodiversity, full of other protected species. So if aquatic warbler extincts, this habitat also extincts, together with the other species.
We are in Žymantas nature biosphere. It's the best place to get food for birds, which is also a biggest challenge for us. These birds are wild, and we need to feed them with wild food, exactly the same what they would catch themselves after a few weeks.
Everything begins with the collecting of insects all over this field. I've got this tool with me. Let's catch some food.
We of course catch everything we could, but we release bees and bumblebees. First of all, they're very important pollinators. Secondly, our birds don't eat them anyway. So that's why we constantly inspect our nets.
This looks good. Yeah, there's one huge. This is a meal for 4. You can catch 20 flies and, for example, 1 grasshopper. So it's better to catch bigger food that will keep them more full for longer.
That's how much I've got after 4 rounds and maybe after 1 hour. So yeah, it's quite exhausting because of the heat mainly. Yeah, we're doing the job what their parents are doing.
Yeah, some days it's super hot, but today the weather could put the whole project in danger.
Looks like it's gonna be heavy rain right now, so we need to collect as many insects as possible.
Even if it's heavy rain, the feeding cannot be stopped. We only hope that it will end up soon, because otherwise we will run away of our food supplies very fast.
And the time. Do you know the time?
We have to freeze insects because otherwise they will run away. It will be impossible to separate them. And we put it just in a regular fridge. And what's funny, the food, like for us, for all of the volunteers, also mixed up together with the worms and bugs and grasshoppers.
Okay, now it's fun part, food sorting. We already froze the insects, so now we need to separate them. We put flies and all kind of mosquitoes in one tray, worms in another, and grasshoppers with spiders in another. Each of them give different nutrients. We also have to be careful because some of the caterpillars and bugs are toxic for our chicks, so we have to remove them. You really have to concentrate and pay a lot of attention doing this job. And yes, it's also from early morning till late evening. In addition to wild insects we catch, we also add a bit of wild ant eggs, which we also collected in the wild. Then we also buy cockroaches and mealworms. Both of them are great source of extra protein, but that's the tiny amount of food we provide. Main part are wild insects, but still it can be a savior when there is a rain. Every day, when the weather allows, we give birds a sun bath. It's good for them to be outside, feel the wind, sun and weather. But as you might guess, feeding never stops. We also have a timer for each box, so we know exactly when to feed it next time. And if you think that feeding them is easy, it's actually not. Sometimes they refuse to eat, or it seems they don't really understand what's happening, or have no idea how to do it. Sometimes worms falling out right from their mouth, and it's very challenging to teach them how to eat. And right now, food is delivered right in their mouth, but later, when they will grow up a little bit more, they will need to learn to catch insects themselves. The whole project is about translocating them from the donor nesting site in Nemuno Delta here, which have a steady and healthy population, to Žymantas Biosphere Reserve here, to establish a new colony. We take only nests abandoned by their mothers, or the ones which are in danger and probably wouldn't survive anyway, and take them to Žymantas Biosphere Reserve. They had a colony many years ago here, but the population extinct. And now we're bringing them back with the goal to create a new healthy population. And in this way, we help them not only survive, but also thrive. After a few weeks, when they will grow up, we will release them in the swamp right here. They will migrate to Africa for winter and hopefully come back exactly here to nest next year.
It's quite interesting experience to try to imitate the nature. Here we're playing mothers. And honestly, some of the days I was quite exhausted, just because you constantly need to gather the food, separate it, feed it, then gather again, then separate again, then feed it. It's like every day is the same monotonous work, but if here a bunch of people could save a population of these rare birds, all of the efforts are worth it.
After feeding them for free for weeks, some of them are ready to be released. But before, we have to ring them, so that later we could track their movement and see if they will return back exactly here next year. Don't worry, it's not painful at all. The bird is just a bit nervous. These rings are very light, and after a while the birds won't even notice that they have them. We're also taking their blood sample for analysis, and that's basically the final stage before moving the chicks to the meadows and finally releasing them to the wild. We are loading boxes in the car for the final journey with us, and all together going to the aviaries. This is the final stage of the project. We are right now in the wetlands, and this is aviary. Here's quite a lot of cages, you can see there's full of them. And we just bring here first 5 cages with the birds, and this is the last step for them. We hold them very carefully and slowly taking them to the aviaries. Each box will have its own aviary. We also installed a fence to stop predators like foxes. Today we're gonna keep them inside the aviary, inside the box, so they get used to this new environment, new sounds and new feelings. And then tomorrow we'll open the cage and they will be able to go out into the aviary, like this bigger cage. And after a while we will open the door in the aviary itself, and slowly they will start to fly out.
We also installed a huge tent right here next to the aviaries in the swamp. So one person will be staying here all the time to check the birds, to see how they adapt to new environment. Also at first to help them with the food, but slowly and slowly they will start to catch food on their own.
Good luck. Of course, we give them some mealworms or some crickets, but we also start feeding the wild insects alive. So we learn how to hunt. When we see that they can hunt easily, this is a sign that they're ready for the wild. And we also observe their behavior. There is a moment when this suddenly becomes really wild birds. So when we change the back wall, birds of prey may not enter or foxes may not enter, but the small birds can fly in and out. So this is called soft release. So we open this and we let the bird decide when we want to go out.
After a few weeks, all of the birds successfully became wild. And it was time for us to return and check how they're doing. But this time it was much harder to find them. Yet, when we finally saw one and then another, it was such an amazing feeling. Hopefully, all will be fine with them, and they will return back here next year.
We have not inherited nature from our fathers, but we have borrowed it from our children. So I feel responsible for my children that I leave nature not worse than I got it, maybe even a little bit better.
If you also would like to save aquatic warblers, the links will be under this video. Here you can see a couple of other projects on similar topics about the birds, and if you like my videos, you're welcome to support me on Patreon. And just go out in nature, keep volunteering and be brave to act.